Guitar pedals, I love them. There's not a cheaper way to change your sound on the guitar than to just grab a pedal and start twisting knobs. Yes, you can get plugins and things for your computers, and that's another good way to go for really cheap, but there's just something about twisting knobs that I just love. Today, I'm gonna help you get started in the world of pedals, and we're gonna do it with just getting 3 basic pedals that I think everybody can kind of start with, and it will really get you 80% of the sounds you're looking for out there. When you really come down to it, at the end of the day, you kind of only have 3 or 4 types of pedals out there. You kind of have your drives, you got your time-based stuff like echo, delay, reverb. You got your pitch shifting modulations like your tremolos and your choruses. And then you got all the really weird stuff out there. But today we're gonna just focus on 3 pedals. They're really cheap. You can kind of get them anywhere. I'll also put some links below to some other even cheaper options, and maybe I'll put a fancy one in there as well for you to check out. But we're just going to go through these 3 pedals and talk about them, and then at the end we'll talk about maybe some things you might want to switch out, or what's that 4th or 5th pedal you want to get, because be careful, once you start with pedals, there's a good chance you'll start with one and within 3 weeks you'll have 100. Okay, so the first thing you gotta ask yourself is, do I need a pedal board? And my answer to you is yes, you need a pedal board. Yeah, you can kind of set your pedals out on the ground and just plug into them. It will work fine. But I found that it's a lot easier just to plug into one end of the pedal and the other end already be on my amp so that I can just get to playing easily. Because if you have to drag everything out, plug everything up every single time, you're just gonna get tired of doing it, okay? So I recommend something like this. This is my gigging board. This is like a little Nano Plus, but it's just a rail. Honestly, get a piece of wood, I don't care. Get a piece of wood, put some Velcro on it, slap your pedals on it, and you'll have it all in one place where you can kind of move it around or keep it plugged in or store it away really easy, but get it out quickly so you can actually play some music instead of running wires all the time. Nobody likes cable management. It sucks. It's stupid. We hate it. Actually, I kind of like it. It's kind of fun. I enjoy doing it. But anyway. So next, let's talk about power. So yeah, you could use 9-volt batteries. It works. But then you have to remember to keep your pedals unplugged when you're not using them. And if you have them on a board, it's hard to unplug them. And it's another thing to think about, right? So I don't recommend using batteries. You can. Be my guest, but they're kind of a pain in the butt, okay? Next up would be just a wall wart, right? Yeah, and you could get one for each pedal and plug them in and go, and you would have nice isolated power. That's a valid way to do it. Now, also with the pedals I'm recommending, you could just do one of these daisy chains, right? So you plug your wall wart into there, and then you daisy chain your pedals off of that. Also, for if you're at home and you're only using 3 pedals, it could get a little noisy, but again, don't let perfect get in the way of good enough, okay? So if that's what you need to do and that's what you can afford, you can get these for less than 20 bucks, I think. Start there, okay? There ain't no shame in that game. However, if you are serious about pedals, like I am, and you're gonna be using bigger pedal boards, I really recommend you use something like a power supply. So I have one strapped to the bottom of this little board that's a Strymon Oija, I don't know how you say it, but it's got 5 spots, so I can power 5 pedals with it, and then I just run the cables out. And so you'll see that when we do the things either. I've also, on my big studio board, which you can't see, or maybe you can if I pick it up. So on this monster board that I've got, I'm actually using a Voodoo Labs pedal power, which is also super awesome. So here's the deal. Buy once, cry once when it comes to your power supplies, okay? Because think about it. You could spend 100 bucks, 150 bucks. I don't remember how much these were when I bought them. I don't remember. I know they were anywhere from $100 to $200. And that sounds like a lot of money. But once you buy it, you don't switch that out anymore. You just mount it and you switch pedals. So if you have the money, I highly recommend you get a power supply, okay? Now, if you don't, use one of the other options. It's better to have something than nothing. So before we get going, let's take the elephant out of the room, because I'm not gonna talk about pedal tuners. Yes, you could get a pedal tuner. I think they're great. I prefer them because I like the ability to shut off the signal. But honestly, When you're just first starting out and you're in your bedroom, just get one of these little clippy guys that you can stick on the headstock. It'll work just as well for what you're trying to do. These are really nice for stage. And like I said, I like to hit on them and turn it off if I need to go get a drink or something like that. So we're not going to talk about tuner pedals, okay? But however, if you're looking for a tuner pedal, something like a TU2, a TU3, you can get these used for nothing. The TU2, I literally used this thing for a decade before I switched things around. So if you find a good quality one, most pedal tuners will work just fine, okay? So pedal number one is, you guessed it, OverDrive. Now, there are a few different types out there. This is the Boss SD1. They're super cheap. I think you can get them brand new for less than $100. Actually, I know you can. Your Boss SD1s and your Tube Screamers kind of all lie in this same place, right? So the nice thing about a Boss SD1 or an OverDrive pedal is that you can use the level to kind of use it as a boost and turn the gain down, and you can kind of almost use it as a clean boost. There is some tone shaping in there. You can turn the level down, crank the drive, and you can kind of get distortion through your amp without blowing the doors off of the house. So yeah, OverDrive, a Boss SD1 is a great option. So is the Tube Screamer, the Ibanez TS9. I'm not really going to offer you a cheaper version because these things are super cheap. You could get one for $40, probably used somewhere. So they're just a great price. Go with the Boss or a Tube Screamer. Or if you're like me and you like the legendary Klon circuit, I'm a big fan of the Wampler Tumnus. There are other Klon circuits out there for cheap. I think this one's about 150 bucks new. I don't know. I think I paid 100 bucks used for this one. Really big fan of this. It's super small. Now, you can't use a 9-volt battery on it. You got to use a power supply. So keep that in mind. Depending on what your budget is, you're going to want a power supply anyway. But yeah, SD1, a TS9, something like a Tumnus or a Klon clone. I really like the high end on these. And you get your OverDrive and you're gonna be all set. Number two is delay. This is my favorite effect. Delay is the best. I'm an old rockabilly kid, so I really like slapback delay. I started out, and you'll see my video before, on the Dan Echo, which is just a great digital delay pedal also. So here's the deal. I recommend you go digital for your first delay pedal. Why not analog? Are you a rockabilly guy? Do you not love analog? I do love it, but analog delays have a shorter delay time a lot of the time. So if you're just starting out and you want to dip your toe in and you want to learn about delay, get yourself a digital delay. The delay times are longer. That gives you a little more flexibility to do everything from, you know, your Scotty Moore slapback. All the way to the edge in his crazy dotted eighth stuff. And number 3 should come as no surprise to anybody who's watched my channel, and it is the Proco Rat. Now why, if I'm already telling you to use an overdrive, would I give you another drive pedal? The reason is the Proco Rat is a distortion pedal, so you get way more gain out of this thing. You can even crank it up and kind of fake some fuzz. So this is a super handy, super versatile pedal. You may even want to get a Rat before you do SD1. It's really, these you can kind of swap. I think you need a second gain stage though. And here's why. You might want a bass distorted tone. And if you've only got one drive pedal, well, you've already got it on there and you need to do a lead, what are you gonna do? Well, that's why you need 2. You can set your bass tone on the Rat and then boost the level on this SD1, run it in the Rat, and all of a sudden you've got extremely rich and creamy, overdriven, lead distorted tones that just rock your 80s socks off. So there you go. Get these 3 babies and you will be set to go. These can just do so many of the things that you're gonna wanna do with pedals that if you just start here, either with these guys exactly, or if you find a cheaper option, it's gonna get you going where you wanna go. I mean, these 2 pedals are less than $100 brand new. A new DD3, I'm not sure. I bought this old 90s version for $100 used. I'll look it up and put a link below to a DD3. I think it's one of the best. It's a really simple delay. You can get into more complex, but if you're just starting out, 3 knobs of the truth is all you need, baby. All right, this is the part of the video where you guys go, Adam, your list sucks. I already have a amp that can do overdrive, so why the heck would I spend my money on an overdrive? That's no good, and that's cool. So if you don't wanna do that, my next questions would be, do you have tremolo on your amp? Do you have reverb? Because if you don't, like me, so I'm running an old Tweed amp that's just a tone and a volume, nothing else, then you might want to look at something like a Keeley Zoma or something similar that has tremolo and reverb, or 2 separate units, whatever you want to do. I really like this. It's pricey. It's like $200, but I get 2 effects, so it's kind of like $100 per side. That's how I justify it. It's my own business. Leave me alone, okay? You could do, so you could do, like I said, you could do reverb and tremolo. You could do chorus. Chorus is fun. If you like 80s and some of that modulation stuff, you could give that a try. Oh, this is when you would really want to try out. Let's try this. Okay, so here's the sleeper pick if you don't need 2 gain pedals. You do need a delay pedal though. Don't skimp on that. Get that one for sure. Get a GE7, bro. These things are Swiss Army knives. You can use it to just do a clean flat boost. You can do this and all of a sudden you have like a tube screamer. There's a ton of things you can do with a GE7. So if you don't want to get 2 drive pedals, get a drive pedal and get a GE7. Like, this is your clean boost, boom, just like that. And you can use it for all kinds of things. So this is also a good choice. All right, 2 drives and a delay. You don't really need much else in life, okay? So give those things a try. I'll put some links below to some different things that you can try to do, like the Rat and the Boss SD1 and maybe a cheaper version if I can think of something. I don't know. I'll see what I can find out there. Oh, patch cables. I really like the Ernie Ball flats. Now, on my big board, I custom made my own and soldered them, and they're very good, and I like doing that too. But man, for my gigging board, I just went with some of these Ernie Ball flats. They're really well made, and they work great. So I highly recommend getting good cables. Get good cables. Infrastructure is super important. Good cables, good power supply, and the rest is cake, all right? All right, thanks again, y'all. Hopefully this one was nice and informative. Maybe you learned a thing or two about a thing or two. Comment below and tell me what your 3 must-have pedals on a pedal board are, or what are some of the options that you would recommend somebody use for overdrive, distortion, fuzz, or delay. There's just so much stuff out there. There's no way that I could ever possibly cover all of it. And quite frankly, a lot of you guys are smarter than I am. So I'm gonna use your knowledge. Please sprinkle it down below in the comments. So thanks again. again, everybody. Like, subscribe if you haven't, blah, 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 and I will catch you guys on the next one. Later.